welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this video, all the welcomes all around. I'm so excited today because we are talking about plant-based holiday food, and oh my goodness, one of my favorite things in the world, honestly. Holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas food, all of that is just so good. There's just some of those flavors that you just don't want to go without come that time of year. No, we're not going to be roasting a dead animal, but we are going to be roasting and stuffing some incredible acorn squash today, and we're going to be roasting beets, and we're going to be doing a traditional green bean casserole. It's just made vegan and gluten-free. So what else are we doing? Oh, mashed potatoes and gravy. We're gonna be doing a roasted garlic mashed potatoes and gravy dish. And this doesn't have to be just for Thanksgiving. This would be amazing for Christmas as well. You could always add something, take something away, tweak anything that you want to, but really it goes both ways. Perfect for Thanksgiving, perfect for Christmas dinner as well. So I hope you are ready for all the vegan, gluten-free Thanksgiving holiday food you are going to need. Let me know in a comment what's one food during the holidays that you can't go without. I would love to know because I always want new ideas for things that I can bring on here and make plant-based for you. I cannot wait to hop in. Let's get right to the recipes.
Starting with clean potatoes, I actually keep the skins on for this recipe. You'll just put all of your potatoes into a pot of water, bring to a boil with a pinch of sea salt, and boil until tender to a fork. Next up, we are going to peel our head of garlic, and just making sure it's all peeled, we're going to chop off the tips. You want to make sure every single clove, its tip is chopped off so that it's exposed on the inside. Then we're going to layer a sheet of aluminum foil and parchment paper and make sure we get our garlic head nice and oiled. So rub in that olive oil, and then you can wrap up with the parchment and aluminum foil. The reason we're doing the parchment on the inside and the aluminum foil on the outside is just so those heavy metals don't actually touch the food. Next up is our tahini gravy. So we're gonna be using veggie broth, earth balanced butter, tahini, coconut milk, soy sauce, and a little bit of gluten-free flour. And I'll be using a mason jar to shake the gravy halfway through. So we're going to add our earth balanced butter to a pan and let that melt. Then we're going to add in a little bit of flour. So we just want this to create a really thick base for the gravy. Next up, add some veggie broth. And just so you know, I would totally recommend using a whisk for this. I could not find my whisk on the day that we filmed. So I was using a wooden spoon, and then you'll see here that I added all the veggie broth at the end, and then we add in our tahini. Be sure to mix that in. This would be so much easier with a whisk. I added my soy sauce, and then we opened our mason jar with a little flour in it and some of the milk. Ladle some of the gravy into the mason jar. So I added it to this measuring cup so it was easy to pour in. And then you want to shake that up. Pour the shaken up part of the gravy back into the original pan with the rest of the gravy and start to mix that together. You'll see that it instantly starts to thicken up. I added a little bit of salt and some pepper to taste, and just continue mixing that or whisking it preferably, and you're good to go. At this point, our potatoes were done. So we have golden potatoes, some coconut milk, some earth balanced butter, and our head of roasted garlic. I actually started off by mashing the potatoes with a bean masher. I just felt that this broke the skins up really well before I added the other ingredients. So then I added in some of the coconut milk, the earth balanced butter, the entire head of roasted garlic. This is a game changer, you guys. It's so good. And then I used my mixer to mix it all up. Next up is our green bean casserole. We're going to start with some canned organic French style green beans, some creamy mushroom soup, some gluten-free crispy onions, some coconut milk, a little bit of gluten-free flour, and some vegan shredded mozzarella. Starting with your green beans in a bowl, we're going to add in the creamy mushroom soup. Next up, you're going to add your coconut milk, not all of it. I did about half of that measurement. Some gluten-free flour, and some of the vegan mozzarella shreds. Add in some sea salt and black pepper, and your crispy onions. Transfer all of this into a small casserole dish. Cover with the vegan mozzarella shreds and more of the crispy onions, and you're good to go. Next is our roasted beets with garlic and agave. So we're going to start with beets, some agave or honey if you're not vegan, some garlic, and then you just want to start by chopping up, or slicing, I'm sorry, your beets. Coat with olive oil. Add in your garlic. And toss to make sure everything is evenly combined. You can roast these however you want to, but I really enjoyed having the colors in this dish kind of spiraled a little bit. My beets were all different sizes, so it didn't end up as aesthetic as I thought it would, but get creative with it. Roast your beets however you want to. If you are going to roast them on a pan, I would highly recommend covering it with parchment paper first so the beets don't stick to the bottom of the pan, especially when they're sliced this thin. Next up, we have our stuffed and curried acorn squash. You're going to want to start with 2 to 4 acorn squashes, some organic corn, an onion, some wild rice, some kale, and some Beyond sausage links. Also adding garlic powder, curry powder, and cumin. You want to slice your acorn squash in half like so, and scrape out all the seeds and the insides. Next, you're going to want to oil your acorn squashes. I ended up using a brush just to make sure the oil was evenly distributed, and then you are going to want to roast these face down on the pan. Next up, we're just going to slice our onion. I always like to half it and then peel it that way. It seems to be easiest, and then we're going to chop that up. And then we're also going to slice and chop up our Beyond sausage. I like to do pretty small pieces for this. Add your onions to a pan and let those get nice and translucent. Then add in your Beyond sausage. I like to let this get pretty good and crispy, and then I add in my corn and a handful of chopped kale. Just mix this all together. Add in the garlic powder, the curry powder, and the cumin. Next up, you can add in your wild rice. a pinch of sea salt, and some black pepper. Once your acorn squashes are done, we can start to spoon the stuffing mixture into the squashes. And you're good to go.
That brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you got some ideas and make some of these dishes for you and your family on Thanksgiving. It's so good to have a few plant-based options, even if you don't have a plant-based family. I don't either. My husband and I and my mom and my sister, we are kind of the only vegan vegetarian group in the family. So we always bring our own plant-based food to make for the holidays, and it's really cool to see everybody's reaction when they try it and they realize, oh, it's actually not that different from what we're eating. So I really love to be a part of that and just get to share that side of things, because these foods are a whole lot healthier than traditional gravy and eating meat all the time and all the dairy that's in some of these dishes. So I would highly recommend you add a couple of these, if not all 4, to your family's Thanksgiving dinner. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below letting me know what's one Thanksgiving food you can't go without. Whether that's your grandma's mashed potatoes or your mom's green bean casserole or whatever it is, let me know down below. I always like to get ideas of what I can bring to this space as plant-based and vegan, to make sure that there's options for everybody. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you are notified whenever I post a new video. And I will just see you next time. Bye.